Welcome everyone, I'm Amy. I'm a NPC bikini competitor and I'm also a nutritional therapy practitioner. And this is my 2025 prep vlog. I am 11 and a half-ish weeks out. Oh my gosh, it is flying by. And in this intro, excuse me, I was just choking on some water. Still there. In the intro, I'm going to talk about the feedback I got from my coach. So if you missed last week's episode, in the end of the episode, I do talk about what I sent for my check-in last week, and then he gives me feedback. So I'm going to talk about what changes are coming or what he has to say about my check-in for the week. So initially, I mentioned in last week's video that I couldn't submit my pictures with the form, or like they wouldn't load with the form, so I just sent them to him on WhatsApp, which he responded to immediately. He said, I said, I've been trying to get my pictures to attach to my check-in form, but they're being denied by the server, so I'm attaching them here. Thank you. He said, no worries, it's a Google glitch at times. Looking tighter, we'll dive in soon. And I said, yes, I agree. And I did agree. I definitely was looking tighter. So he had a couple of clients competing yesterday who looked incredible. It was a husband-wife. She does figure, and he looks like he was men's physique. They just both looked amazing. He sent me their pictures, and I said, I want that level of conditioning. He wrote back, we will get you there. I only allow that high level. And I said, that's one of the things that I appreciate about him, that he has enough ego not to put a bad competitor on stage, and I love that. And I do. I appreciate that. I don't want a coach who would let me get on stage if I wasn't ready. So he sent me my plan. He said notes inside. So let's look at that. So let's pull up my plan. I keep it as an icon on my phone desktop. So he said stress levels are lower, body weight dropped, midsection's looking tighter, backside significantly tighter, rear delt striations, maybe. Need to make sleep a priority next week. Yes, I do. Appetite is high. He said that's a good sign. Training performance and motivation are high. I said, yep. He said, I'm going to have you reach out to Danny to see if she can help with the pelvic floor. She's very busy, but we have a good rapport, and I may be able to see if I can get her to onboard you at least for consulting on the pelvic floor. And he gave me her email address. Metabolism is now turning. He added 4 grams of chia seeds to both meals 5, and he just then put the actual date of my show, which is November 11th. So that was, those are really the only changes. So, which finally, I can have the same meal plan 2 weeks in a row, which I am totally here for. So adding in 4 grams of chia seeds is a really easy thing to a meal that stays the same, just adding in the chia seeds, totally fine. So I'm super excited about that. I have everything I need for the week, which is great. I don't need to go to the store, so I'm super excited. I have everything, which is really exciting. No changes to cardio, no changes to steps, no changes to water, no changes to training. So awesome. All really good. And so I said, looks good, that I would reach out. He said that he sent Danny a message, no obligation on your end. I told her no obligation on hers, but feel free to email her and let her know that you're a friend and a client. And I said, awesome, I'll reach out to her. And that was it. So that was my feedback. So not a lot, which is fine. I like check-ins like that. I feel like I had so many check-ins where there were like massive amounts of changes and it just kind of felt really chaotic. So I am really happy to have a week with basically no changes, just keep doing the same. And it seems like things are working. So I am really excited about that. Yeah, like I said, it feels really good just to have that consistency, and yeah, it'll be good. This is my first week with starting my training on Saturday of the week instead of on Sunday, so I have different rest days, so I think it's going to probably mentally throw me off a little bit. Like I'm so used to having Wednesday, Saturday rest days. I mean, I've had that for like so long that I've just gotten so used to it. So having the Tuesday, Friday rest days, I'll probably just be like off a day. Even Saturday, like when my alarm went off, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like I gotta get up and go to the gym before I go to work. So it did, it's changing things a little bit this week, but other than that, nothing else going on this week. I have my nail appointment. I'm not recording any podcasts. I'm not doing anything crazy, just normal work week, normal work week. And we have the holiday weekend this weekend, so it'll be Labor Day. And next week is when I have more fun stuff, my appointment with Dr. Dove, and then deciding whether or not I'm going to go to the second appointment with the pelvic floor therapist. We shall see. Not sure about that. Other than that, we will just see what comes next. I need to practice posing this week. I need to schedule another session with Tori. Oh my gosh, I found out that Tori is going to be competing in the Amateur Olympia in, now it's like 6 weeks. Yikes. Like less than, I think I heard on a podcast that's like 56 days or 50 some days, which is just crazy. So that'll be really fun to follow Tori's journey in fitmodel to the Amateur Olympia stage, which will be really cool. So I need to get a posing session scheduled. I need to practice posing. And yeah, that's all I got. So if you guys have any questions about how prep's going or anything at all, leave those in the comment section below. And I will see you all here in whatever comes next. All right, so this is an updated full day of eating. This is a rest day for me, but because it is a Tuesday, it doesn't matter that it's a rest day. I get the same plan Monday through Friday, which is, it's been so awesome. And I'm actually really excited about my meals today because I really am enjoying my new meal plan. It's pretty much the same, just I think I mentioned probably in last week's video that we removed one whole meal. So this is my meal one, and I'm in the process of putting it together. So I make my cream of rice. So it's 40 grams of cream of rice, and I make my cream of rice I do batches. So I just make all 5 servings at once, and then I measure them out into my fancy little containers. And I usually put 2 in the fridge and throw the rest in the freezer and like just take it out the night before and put it in the fridge, just because I don't like food going bad. So, but I like to batch cook. So I do all 5 at once. And then on top of this, I'm going to chop up, this is 80 grams of strawberries. Oh my gosh, look at how many strawberries this is. It's so fantastic. So I'm gonna chop these guys up. The strawberries in this little container over here, this is actually 50 grams of strawberries that I'm gonna have on meal 4. But while I'm chopping up my strawberries, I just chopped them all for the day. So I'll chop these up and put them on top of the cream of rice. And I'll chop these up and just put them in the fridge for later. The other things that go on this meal, I do an 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So I just dump some salt into this little baby food container and then dose out my 1/8 of a teaspoon with my little 1/8 of a teaspoon measuring spoon. I'm also gonna put some Ceylon cinnamon on top of it and kind of just mix that all up. And then I top it with 4 grams of MCT oil, which I weigh out on my tiny little, this is a micro scale. So it goes down to like, it's so specific, like it literally will get 1 drop of oil, which is awesome. My bigger scale, like this guy is great, but it tends to do big jumps. So when you're trying to measure out something like 4 grams of oil, it's really not much. So it's really helpful to have this little micro scale. Really love that little guy. And then I will mix up, so I've been doing my whey as a whey drip. So I'll mix up the scoop of, or the 25 grams of whey isolate with just a little bit of water, and I'm gonna throw it in the freezer while I chop up these strawberries, and so it kind of thickens up a little bit. And then I'll have mixed up my strawberries and my salt, my cinnamon, and then I just drizzle the whey drip on top with the coconut oil, and it is delicious. So that is meal 1. And like I said, it's a rest day, but it wouldn't matter if this was a training day. This would still be meal 1. I would just be eating this after cardio, which it actually is after cardio today as well, because I have 7-day-a-week cardio. But super excited to eat this. All right, so meal 2 is going to be 30 grams of sweet potato. So yes, that is 30 grams of sweet potato. I buy the sweet potato cubes, just the organic sweet potato cubes from King Soopers or Kroger, and cook those up. Just threw those in the microwave. And then I'm going to cook down, this is 80 grams of spinach. This is the spinach also from Kroger. I will say it is about half as squeaky as the spinach from Costco, but also twice as, or half again as squeaky as the least squeaky of the spinach, which is the spinach from Walmart. But organic spinach, so I'm gonna throw this in the microwave just for 50 seconds, just to wilt it down. It cooks really quickly. When that's happening, I'm gonna mash up this little bit of sweet potato, put some cinnamon and salt with it. I have my salt container here and my little measuring spoon. And then I'm gonna weigh out my rice, and I'm actually gonna split it up. So I cook all my rice each day fresh. So what I do is I take the total amount of grams cooked that I'm supposed to get for each meal. So I get 65 grams with this meal, and then my next meal I get 90 grams. So if you add that together and then divide it by 3, that tells you how much raw weight rice to cook. So this is 52 grams of raw weight rice that I have cooked. I'm gonna put 65 grams with this meal, and then I'm gonna put the rest with my, or save the rest for my next meal, which is meal 3. So that is what I'm going to do right now. Oh, and this is my bag of frozen chicken. So when I do meal prep, I cook all my chicken. I cook a bunch of chicken at once and I weigh it out. So these are 60-gram bags of frozen chicken. I portion them out right away and just put them all in the freezer. And then I just take out what I need. So by the time I'm ready to eat this meal, this chicken will be thawed. I'll just throw it in the fridge with the rest of these ingredients and it'll be ready when I am ready. So 50 seconds in the microwave takes that big bowl of spinach down to nothing. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt on it and mix that in. I'm going to weigh out my 65 grams of cooked rice for this meal. Should be 64, which I will stay at. Not gonna try to get one more grain of rice in there to make it 65. We'll just leave it at 64. I put the lid on this guy, throw this in the fridge so I have it ready to go for my next meal, which is the next meal after this, which will be meal 3. Yeah. I forget we dropped a meal, so I'm off a meal. So yeah, and I'm going to put like I said, I'm going to bring the chicken with me and just throw that in the fridge. I'm going to put the spinach on top of here, put the rest of the salt on, and I'm good to go. I might do a little more cinnamon. The cinnamon's actually really good on the spinach as well. Like it's actually a really nice, I know a lot of people do like cream spinach and they put nutmeg in it. So the cinnamon is actually kind of nice. So I'll probably do a little bit more cinnamon on top of the rice and the spinach. And then when I'm ready to eat it, throw the chicken on and I'm good to go. All right, so it's time for meal 3, which is my very favorite meal on my plan right now. And I know it sounds like a weird combination of things, but I promise it's delicious. I look forward to this meal all day. So it's going to be 70 grams of zucchini, which I have cut up, and I think this is about 70 grams. We'll see how close I am. I do have another one if I need to cut up more. The 50 grams of strawberries that we chopped up this morning, so they are all nice and defrosted now. So, and the rice, so this is the 90 grams of rice that's going to go on here of cooked rice. And then I have my little baggie here that is now defrosted because I took it out of the freezer this morning. It still might be a little bit frosty, but it's going to be fine. Of 60 grams of chicken. So I'm going to, let's see how much zucchini this is. I'm going to throw this in the microwave. I cook it for like a minute just to soften it up. This is, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so close. Look at that. We're gonna leave it there. Like I can live with 4 grams. That's totally fine. So I'm gonna throw this in the microwave for about a minute just to get these all nice and soft. And then I'm gonna top it with my rice, my chicken, my strawberries, a good sprinkle of cinnamon. And then I'm going to do 12 grams of almond butter. And I think there should be exactly that amount left in this packet. So I've been using this packet. This is from yesterday. Oh, turn that back on. Let's just see how much is in here. So of course this is the packet is gonna weigh something also. Yeah, so 14 grams, that's with the packet. I mean, the packet probably weighs 2 to 3-ish grams. I should actually, I'm gonna do that. So after I get all the nut butter out, I'll see how much it is, and then I'll know how much the packet weighed so that I will know for the future how much the packet weighs. But these packets have 32 grams in them, hypothetically, you know. So yeah, I will put that on top. I'll do my 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and that is meal 3. Used to be meal 4, so it throws me off a little bit, but it's now, it is the new, meal 4 is now the new meal 3. All right, it is time for meal 4. And I will be honest, I used to dread this meal because it was 60 grams of chicken, 100 grams of bell pepper, 80 grams of spinach, the 4 grams of chia seeds, and I just really disliked that combo. So I mentioned it in, I think, last week's video that I asked my coach if I could switch out the chicken for egg whites, because I started thinking about it and I'm like, this is a delicious omelet in the making. Bell pepper, spinach, eggs, like this would be an amazing omelet. So that's what I do now. So I'm gonna get, weigh out my 80 grams of spinach. I do have another one because I think this is maybe very close to 80 grams, but not quite. And then my 100 grams of bell pepper. And what I do is I saute the peppers up in my pan. Shoot my pan out. So I will, just with nothing, because this is a nonstick pan, so I'll just throw those in the pan and kind of get those nice and soft, put a lid on them just to soften them up a little bit, and then kind of get them just a little bit toasty. And then I will add in the spinach and the egg whites. I do kind of that at the same time. The spinach can sometimes let off a lot of water, so sometimes I will steam the spinach first, like just a little bit, like throw it in the microwave for like 30 seconds just to kind of get it to release some of the water, and I squeeze it, and then I put it in at the same time with the egg whites. I do have a couple of regular eggs left. I am super fortunate to have a friend who brings me farm fresh eggs, which is incredible, but I don't get the yolks right now. So what I will do is probably each egg white from like a whole egg is usually 20 to 25 grams, and I get 120 grams. So what I'll do is I'll probably use like 3 of those and then just top off the rest with the liquid egg whites. There's not much left in there, but there'll be enough between the eggs and the egg whites. I'll get enough for 120. And then the chia seeds, I sprinkle those just on top when it's done. So when I get done cooking that, I sprinkle the chia seeds on top, and of course my 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and that's it. Sometimes do a little bit of pepper. Oh, I did find a seasoning that does not have garlic or onion in it, which is actually really challenging to find. So this is the everything but the elote. The only issue is that the first ingredient is sugar. So there's definitely a little bit of macro in here, but I mean, I use like the tiniest amount, like it's hardly even a sprinkle because it's really flavorful. So it's just the cane sugar, salt, corn flour, chili pepper, Parmesan cheese. Again, there's going to be a little bit of macros in there. And as I get closer to the show, I'm definitely going to stop using this. And I don't use much. It's just like a tiny little bit. And I don't even use it every day. It's kind of like once in a while. Chipotle powder, citric acid, dried cilantro, rice fiber, and cumin powder. So I was shocked. I actually found a blend, and I had this in my cabinet. That's why it's like half full. I'd actually had this for quite a while. Like, had forgotten I even had it, but I was just kind of looking through my cabinet to see what I had in there that might work. Yeah, it actually expires in February of 26. So that shows you how long I've had this. But just like I said, a teeny tiny little bit goes a really long way. And as I get closer to show, I will definitely cut this out entirely and just do salt and maybe a little ground pepper. And I could always just do the chipotle pepper, or like some smoked paprika might be good. So many things. See, like when you make an omelet, there's like so many good things that you can make. So let's see how, I think this is probably close to 100 grams of bell pepper. Like probably really close. Wow. Maybe. Okay. Look at that. I was so close to right at 100 grams. And then I'm going to do 80 grams of spinach on top of that. So close. So open my new container. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to throw both of these in Like just throw this container in the microwave for like 30 seconds just to get the spinach to wilt just a little bit. I'll squeeze the water out of it. I'll toss the peppers in the pan, and then, oh, is that right on? Oh, so close. One more. Perfect. All right, so that is that. So that's meal 4. And like I said, now I actually really look forward to this meal. Ooh, I might do some Frank's Red Hot on it instead of the seasoning. I have Frank's Red Hot is like the one hot sauce, or no, it's Texas Pete. Texas Pete that does not have, so many hot sauces have garlic in them or onion, and Texas Pete does not. It is literally just vinegar, aged peppers, water, xanthan gum, and a preservative. That's it. So Texas Pete, that's what I'll do instead. Kicking the elote to the curb. I'm gonna do some Texas Pete on this when it's all done. There we go. All right, so for my final meal of the night, this is very similar to, I think, what I've shown in what I ate in a day before. It is programmed in as a Ninja Creamy, but don't love using the Ninja Creamy because it's loud and I have to plan way in advance. And I just don't find it's all that tasty when it's just protein powder and water. So that's what I've got here. So I have my chia seeds in the bottom. So I get 4 grams of chia seeds and I just soak those in water. I usually do that when I'm making dinner, just so the chia seeds have a time to kind of plump up. So they get blended in really well. And then a scoop of protein powder. So it's just 25 grams of casein protein. And then I'm gonna do some of my, this is the digestive ginger tea that I drink. So this is an Ayurvedic infusion. It's ginger, peppermint, cumin, dandelion root, licorice, and fennel seeds. And I like doing this at the end of the day, just because it's kind of a nice little pre-bed treat. It's good for digestion, and it's just a really nice way to end the day. So I do a pretty good scoop of it into my little tea infuser. And I will let that steep while I eat my protein shake. And I say eat my protein shake because I blend it up with a lot of ice, so it's really thick. And then I will add in, just before I blend it, I do cinnamon, the Ceylon cinnamon, and then I still do my 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in here as well. And if you think that sounds gross, it's not. Sweet things need salt too. It does make it kind of salty, which I like. So it's all good. So that will be the last thing I eat today, eat and drink. And the other thing I do at night is get my pre-workout, or my pre-workout meal ready for the morning. So you guys saw that this morning. Since it was a rest day, I made it and ate it, but But today I chopped up the strawberries tonight while I was cooking my dinner and put those on there. And so it's all ready to go for the morning as well. So I'm just gonna blend this guy up and let my tea steep, and that finishes my day, my full day of eating. Oh, I also get almond butter. Oh my gosh, how could I forget? Oh, it's like my favorite thing. So I also get 12 grams of almond butter. So I did finish off that last packet, the little Justin's almond butter. So I'll grab another one of those, weigh out 12 grams, and I actually eat that all by itself. And I say eat, I mean savor. I eat it very slowly and just savor that last little bit of almond butter for the night. So this is the coolest unboxing ever. I have to give a huge shout out to my friend Lexi. I asked her if she had one of the Dyson Airwrap or the Shark Flex, because her hair always looks fabulous. And just so happens that not only does she have one, she's never used it. So I'm gonna do an unboxing. I am super excited to try this out. I'm looking forward to hopefully perfecting the beachy, typical bikini girl blowout for my next show. And I have 10 weeks to practice. I have what I told Lexi, and I've said before on my vlog, TikTok confidence, because I have watched a lot of TikTok videos about how to use this on curly hair. And I'm really excited. So she said she's never used it. So it is completely brand new, never even been taken out of the box. So let's take a look. So it comes in this beautiful case. It has this little magnetic closure. And when you open it, ooh, there's another little cover in here that says Dyson. And then this says, how to curl your hair. Watch this 30-second film. Hold a section of damp hair 4 inches from the end. Bring the barrel toward the tips. Hair will self-wrap. Move styler towards your head. No need to twist, which yes, I have seen that. And then hold until hair is dry. Switch to off to release the curl. And of course, I've seen this all on TikTok. So I will probably scan that and watch their little video just to see if it's similar to what I have researched on TikTok. All right, okay. So inside this is the hand piece, and then there's all these cool attachments. So there's 2 different sizes of the twisting barrels, and there's one for each. So there's an arrow on them, and the arrow is the direction of the curl. So you use different arrows for different sides of your head. So like this one I would use on the left. These are both the lefts. And then the other 2 would be the right side, just so the curl goes away from your face. So they're not a huge difference in size, but big and small there. And, okay. Like I recognize these from, my TikTok videos. Oh. Okay, and then I know this should be a firm and a soft brush. Oh yeah, so you can kind of see this one with the pink is definitely a lot softer and flexier. So it moves pretty easily, and these little things are really soft, so they won't, scratch up your head. And then this one is definitely more firm, but it's cool. It kind of rotates a little bit, but definitely firmer, and doesn't have the little nubbies at the top of the bristles. So this one is going to be firmer. Even when you push on it, it doesn't have any give at all. So those guys. It's hard to see because the box is black where everything is supposed to go. And then there's just one of the bristle brushes. So this is the one that I think that I'll start with, either that or the flat brush, but from the videos I've watched, most people start with this one. So this is going to, straighten and kind of pull. This allows you to get a lot of tension on the hair because it's really spiky, cactusy, and it really grabs the hair. And that's the biggest tip I've gotten from watching videos for curly haired girls, is that tension is your friend. So you really want to be able to get that tension, and most of them start with this guy. And that makes sense. Feeling it, I can really feel how it would really grab onto the hair, and then it will heat it as well. So that guy, and then this one is just the dryer. So this is just going to be to just blow dry your hair. If you don't have time to air dry, to blow dry it. And then this is the hand piece, or the handle for everything. Okay. Oh gosh. I'm so that person who would just leave this all wrapped up, but I know I have to unwrap it to be able to use it. Come on. Well, I think I'm going to have to tear it. Just do it. Okay. Okay, cool. So then there's the settings on here, 3 settings for heat. So there's the cool blast is going to be all the way at the bottom, and then speed, low, medium, and high, and just off and on. Oh, that's kind of cool. So if you push it down, it'll stay on. And then I'm assuming if you hold it up, you can just kind of blast. So you could that's how you could easily let go of a curl. Ooh, I like that. And then if you're just drying, you can just leave it on. Okay. Cool, and it swivels. This is how you clean its little filter, I'm sure. I will read the instructions on it because I want to make sure I do everything correct. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm there's got to be an instruction manual. Oh, and there's other stuff in here. The desiccant, do not eat that. I love that they have to put that on there. What is this little guy? I'm guessing this is maybe an extra filter. Ooh. I'll read about that. Oh, I bet this is to clean it. It has these really soft bristles on the inside. So I bet this is to clean. That would be my guess, that you can use this to clean these, maybe. I'm going to read about that because, like I said, I don't want to mess it up. Or maybe to clean the filter, to clean out. Oh yeah, oh yeah, look at that. So I bet that, I'm guessing that's what this is for. But again, I will read it to make sure that I am correct. But yeah, that does a really great job of cleaning out all these little holes, because then there's another filter underneath it. Okay, so I will read about this. That's that. And then there is, hello, and welcome to the new way to style your hair. Yay. Even this is wrapped. Wrapping is clearly their thing. They wrap everything. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, so this is the warranty stuff. Electrical grounding information, and then the operation manual that I will go through and, oh yep, so there's instructions on how to clean that filter. And look, I was right. This is to, oh, it's to clean out the one underneath. So it's to clean out that tiny little filter. And you can rinse this guy. Okay, cool. I actually was correct. Filter cleaning brush, that's what that is. And you're supposed to do that. Must be kept dust-free. Yep. Okay, cool. So I will read out how to attach all of these and all of that good stuff. And then I am excited to start perfecting my beachy, perfect bikini girl blowout for my show. And we're back. It is the end of the week. It is time to talk about what I sent my coach for check-in this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the unboxing of the Dyson Airwrap. I'm going to give you a little update on that and my full day of eating. That's my full day of eating, so that's my plan now, Monday through Friday, which is just excellent. Loving it all. It's going really well. Love all my meals. I do miss my sourdough, but I miss it less and less every week. So at some point, maybe it'll be back in my life, but for now, I am well fed. I love my meals. It's going well. So let's talk about the Dyson Airwrap before I get into my check-in. So it was going really well. My TikTok confidence was paying off. I got, I dried it. I got it all kind of straightened out with the bristly brush. And then I went in to start doing the actual Airwrap part, like to make the curls. And you're supposed to so I had my hair all sectioned, and you're supposed to do like one section, hold it for like a few seconds, turn it off so that, you can release it. Well, so I did that, and I did like 2 or 3, and it just wouldn't turn back on. So I'm like, well, maybe it was overheating, even though the red light was not flashing. It has a red light that flashes if it overheats. So I'm like, well, maybe it is anyway. So I left it for about a half hour and came back and tried it again. And no, I made sure that I reset it. I read the instructions, like you pulse the on-off button a bunch of times. You do all these things, nothing. So I'm like, okay. So at this point I look a little crazy because one side of my hair looked good and had the beachy waves. The other side looked like haystack hair, because it's just when you straighten curly hair, it just gets big and puffy. So I'm like, well, I had to go to work, but I could work from home until like noon. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna just let it keep cooling off, and I'm gonna keep working and try again. So after like an hour, I went back and I was able to get it to turn on. It turned on, I did one, turned it off, and dead again. And it was definitely not hot. So I thought, well, maybe there is I had that filter cleaning thing, and I took the little thing of the brush, I took the filter thing off, I cleaned it all, even though it had been used for less than 20 minutes. There was no dust in it. It was brand new. So yeah, I could not get it to turn back on after that. At the end of the day, so I ended up just putting my hair in a ponytail and just rocking it at work for the afternoon, which was fine. Patients aren't looking at me for 99% of the time. They don't care what I look like, so it was totally fine. When I came home, I turned it on, and it turned on, and I turned it off, turned it on, turned it on, turned it off, and then it wouldn't turn on again. So I did let Lexi know. She said it's under warranty, and then of course I went right back to TikTok to see if this was anyone else's experience, and apparently this is a normal this has happened to a lot of people. But people are like, oh, it's overheating. But again, the red light flashes. It wasn't flashing. It was clearly not overheated from not being used for many hours. So I don't know. I will say 2 things about it. It was as easy to use as I was hoping it would be. I loved it. It was amazing. My TikTok confidence was not overconfident. All the things, all the tricks, all the things that people said, I was able to use it so easily and so efficiently. So I'm genuinely so disappointed that I couldn't get it to turn on again, because I loved it. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here because it was incredible. And one side of my head, if I can figure out a way to insert it, I will try to insert the video I sent to Lexi showing her I said it was one of those memes, who you go to bed with, who you wake up with. One side's all these beautiful, smooth waves, and the other side is just craziness. And it's been sitting like to cool off if it was too hot for like an hour. And I'm like, I don't know what to do because one side of my hair looks like this and the other side looks like this. I'm like a meme. Like when you meet her, when you wake up with her in the morning. So yeah, I don't know if it's faulty. I don't know. Yeah, that was my experience so far with the Dyson Airwrap. I hope, I think it could be awesome. I think I could absolutely do my own hair that way for the show if it would stay on. I mean, I can't even imagine. This is why you should always test everything you're going to do for show day, because what would I have done if that was my show day plan? And I got, you know, halfway done with my hair and couldn't get it to turn on. I mean, that's not the place you want to be in on show day. So if you're going to try the Dyson Airwrap, I definitely suggest trying it well before your show. All right, what we're all here for. In the outro, we're going to talk about my check-in. So here are my check-in photos from the week. Here. And let's talk about what I sent Tommy. So first thing it asks for is always the date, and then the pictures, which you guys have seen. Current date, days, or how many weeks until goal or competition? 10 weeks and 6 days. Woo. My weight from this morning, my weight from my last check-in date. So I did lose about 2.5 pounds this week, which was great. Good progress. Really happy to see that. Average blood pressure is the same. It's about 110/70 always. My average glucose for the week, fasted glucose, was 80. Adherence to diet and cardio, 100% yes and yes. My supplements, did not change anything with my supplements, although I am going to try some more stuff, and I'll talk about why. My current training split is still my 5-day push-pull legs. I've not done a deload week. My last blood work was the beginning of August. I've not done a refeed. Sleep, I gave myself 3 out of 5. Gym performance, 5 out of 5. Had really good workouts, good cardio. Everything felt great. Energy was good. Had 4 out of 5 energy. And my issue with the sleep this week was not that I'm not getting, my sleep quality is very good. As you'll see from my sleep score, which was an 88. So like my sleep quality is really good. I'm just not getting enough sleep. So that is a me issue. And that's definitely that is a me thing. It's not like I'm not able to sleep. I fall asleep in seconds. I just get up very early, and there were a couple of days this week that I actually got up at 3:30 instead of 4 because we had earlier clinic. So just not enough sleep this week was the issue. So fatigue, still 4. I was not overly tired. I'm pretty adapted to pushing through. Current appetite, I put as a 4. My sleep score was an 88. Resting heart rate, so it was 58, which is higher than me, or higher than normal for me, but it was just because I had a couple of days where it was high, and then it came back down. So it was, when I don't sleep long enough, my heart rate tends to stay a little bit more elevated. And if I don't go, I also find for me, if I stay up later than normal, even by like a half hour or 45 minutes, I don't get as good a quality sleep. Like my heart rate doesn't lower as much. It's almost like, because my body's used to going to sleep at, between a pretty small window. If I go past that, I think it's almost like I get a little bit maybe of like a cortisol bump or something to kind of like keep me awake a little bit longer. And then that does make my sleep suffer a little. So my current water intake is unchanged, 1.5 gallons. My current favorite food choice is my chicken, zucchini, strawberry, rice, and almond butter meal. I love it. You guys saw that. It's delicious. My daily step count is still at 16,000 steps a day. Cardio is still the same, 7 days a week. We're doing 25 minutes of steady state and then 10 minutes of HIIT. Digestion, I gave myself a 3. Not great. I still feel like I'm having a little bit of just slower digestion, perhaps. Current mental state is good. It's a 4. And then all questions and other comments here. I said, good morning, Tommy. Hope all your competitors crushed it this weekend. He had a couple of guys competing and a husband-wife combo competing as well, which was awesome. I said, pretty good week. Sleep was good, but I'm still not getting enough, and that is totally on me. Averaging about 6 hours a night, but I did get 7 last night, making sleep a priority this week. I've been incorporating deep core and pelvic floor exercises multiple times a week, and I do feel like I'm seeing some very slight improvement. I have my next session with Dr. Dove on Tuesday next week. I also found an excellent resource on YouTube, a pelvic floor therapist. She's a pelvic floor PT. It's awesome. Who has very comprehensive videos that have been far more helpful than my actual in-person visit with the pelvic floor therapist. So I will link her channel in the description. It's amazing. She has these whole like series, and not just for pelvic floor health. Like a lot of her videos are about pelvic floor health, but other things for posture, for other types of issues. It's just, she's been an incredible resource. So I've really, those ones, and then I've also been doing the Pilates. So all those things in combination do seem like they have been helping somewhat. I said, I do think I may have noticed something this week specifically related to food. I skipped a paragraph. I skipped the most important paragraph. I said, I've been struggling a lot with my skin. I've had multiple visits with the dermatologist and have tried several topicals and a full week of oral antiviral medication. She feels it is an allergic reaction. It has spread to covering a large portion of my face and spreading onto my neck. I ordered a food intolerance test. I don't really believe in those. I really don't, because they do IgG testing on those. It's always going to come up highest on the foods you're consuming regularly, but worth a shot to see if something weird pops up. So that is, I was just kind of desperate. I was in this point of like desperation. I'm like, I have to try something. So I ordered this IgG test. I'll do it next week when it gets here. Hopefully it gets here next week. If not, it'll be the week after. But, you know, I really don't put a lot of stock in those, because especially for competitors who are, especially if you're on a meal plan, you're eating basically the same foods every day, you're always going to show up high for those things because they're in your system. So like I said, it was just out of a moment of desperation when I was just really struggling, and I will do it because it tests for other things too. It tests for seasonal allergies, you know, other types of things. And like maybe something weird will come up on it. And that's what I said. If something weird pops up, and the skin has been awful. So I do think I may have noticed something this week specifically related to food. Can we please remove strawberries for now? It seems to really flare up the itching and swelling of the rash. Also, if possible, I would love to have a different vegetable swap for the bell peppers. I'm so over the bell peppers. I said, on my morning gratitude walks, I have literally been repeating the mantra that I love and accept my skin, and it is okay, and it can heal. It has been really tough the past couple of weeks to wake up with a red swollen face every morning. And it is, I said, workouts and everything else are going really well. Thank you so much. So the skin has been a huge issue. I haven't talked about it a ton because I feel like for a couple weeks I was just trying to like ignore it. Like maybe it'll just go away. It hasn't. It's been awful. Yeah, it's been really bad, really itchy, really red, really swollen, wearing a lot of makeup to try and cover it up. And I don't like doing that either. It's been really embarrassing, especially when I work, you know, for a plastic surgeon and people look at me all the time and kind of judge everything, you know, on the appearance of all of us. But it's been really hard. So I did just seem to notice that maybe it gets worse after I have the strawberries. I'm like, maybe, I mean, just to try it, to cut those out. I don't have any digestive issues from them or any other things that I can relate it to. So I am hopeful that it will make a difference this week. It has, yeah, it's been really tough. So I am planning on today going to the health food store and getting some homeopathic tinctures or tablets to try and help. I feel like I have kind of tapped out on the Western medicine side of things, so going to try some more alternative things this week and see if hopefully that makes a difference. It's been tough. So everything else though is going fine. Workouts are going fine. Weight's finally moving, so all that stuff is great. I would love if I could get the Dyson Airwrap to work, because I was hoping to show you guys how beautiful I could do a beachy blowout, but that is not the case. But it was a good week other than that. So hope you guys are all doing well. Ooh, there's a little bug that's been flying around in here. A little gnat that needs to die. But yes, it is, we're moving into fall. I'm in full on September denial, but that's okay. Hope fall is falling wherever you are. And please, please, please spread positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you. Send your skin some good vibes. If your skin is clear and not itchy and not red and swollen, enjoy that, because it is a gift that I will not take for granted ever again after the last few weeks, what I've been dealing with. So you are worthy. I appreciate you all so much for being here. If you made it to the end of the video, I extra appreciate you. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I would love it if you would leave me a comment, question, anything you want to know. Next week, we're into the single digits of prep, so it's things are moving very quickly, very, very quickly. So we'll see you all here next time.